Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to another Wednesday episode of the No Contest Wrestling Podcast. I am the heel that you love to hate, O'Shea Jackson Jr., a.k.a. Petty Guerrero.
Hey, yo, it's me. It's the TOO, J-I-double-G, 2 Jiggy, TJ Jefferson, live from New York City. What up, man?
What's going on, man? How New York treating you?
It's cold.
Really? Oh, that's whack.
It's cold. It is not for the weak. You know, I used to be the cat in Pennsylvania who in the snow would have on Timbs and jean shorts.
Sorry.
Shut up. That was in Pittsburgh, jerk.
Sorry, man.
Timbs and jean shorts and a starter jacket. Now, bro, if I wore that, I'd die instantly. Death. Done. Done. But yeah, it's cold, but it's really dope. You know, we're filming the Rich Eisen show in the Get Up studio on Hudson Street, you know, part of the whole Disney network. And it's pretty amazing, man, to go in there and everything's underground. So you have all the ABC, you have Good Morning America's there. You got Tamron Hall's show there. You got Mark and Kelly and Mark. There's just it's wild. Saw Patti LaBelle in the hallway yesterday. I was tripping. Like, yeah, man, it's pretty dope for, you know, us to be able to, you know, like I said, we're part of the ESPN Disney Plus family. So it's been really cool to kind of come here, see the love that Rich has been getting from people at ESPN in the building, man. It's really dope. It's dope to be here. But it is cold. I ain't fronting on that.
Yeah, man, I can't do all that. I gotta go.
Now, you're a Cali boy.
Yeah, through and through, man. And this is the first time where you on remote. So this is it's gonna be an interesting episode, you guys. But it's your boys. We got this. We got this on lock.
Yeah,
now,
man.
TJ, Monday Night Raw went down. And not once, but twice.
2 times.
This masked man popped up on my screen, causing havoc. And once again, he went unmasked because we're milking the storyline. We got to sell these tickets. And you're going to want to know who this person is, and you never know when they're going to tell you. But I will say, that was a whole different body.
That's what I'm saying.
That was a whole different body.
It's like I said last week, just because the person who climbed the cage and did the stomp and climbed out doesn't necessarily mean that's the person when they do the unmasking that's going to be, you know, who's revealed. So, but I agree with you. It definitely did not look like the same person,
no,
you know, who we saw climb the cage in War Games.
No, and they're starting to grande Americano me. Now I got multiple bodies. They don't like that the internet be guessing, but like, you know, the internet gonna be guessing, bro. And right now, I don't know how to explain it. But I know a black person when I see one. There was a black person in there, man. I don't know why. I don't know why I feel that, but my black was going off.
Your black meter?
Bro, my black
Your
was hurting.
blackometer?
My black, I just felt it, dude. I felt it. Dims blacks in there. So it was a feeling that I had. And
you can't fool me.
Yeah, exactly. You can't fool me. There was a lot of pausing, a lot of rewinding, looking at the way he was standing, the way he was looking. I was like, I'm no physician, but that there is black.
And not just because he was dressing all black like the Omen.
No, that there is black. So
blackity black.
Yep. I hit up Montez Ford. No reply. No reply. Kind of weird.
You want to go and tell him what you said? Nah, don't do that. No.
Yeah,
on Disney, you can't say that.
Yeah.
We're trying to stay on
me,
here,
naysayer.
Gotta let a naysayer know.
Yeah,
you know what I'm
man.
saying?
You can't fool me, naysayer. That there's naysayer.
But yeah, Man in Black, a.k.a. we'll just call him Johnny Cash, came in and stomped out Ray.
Yeah. Just unsolicited, too. Like, Rey Mysterio, icon. I mean, you gave him the night off, but, like, just, like, dude, obviously,
Logan started it by roughing Ray up from the back, right?
Yeah.
He
Also,
attacked him.
side note, LA Knight. Let's work on the timing. Can we work on the timing? Joe Tessitore said, and right on time comes LA Knight. I don't think Joe Tessitore knows what right on time means because Rey Mysterio is clocked. All right. I'm
Ray's
already
like,
beat
can
up.
you please help me?
Yeah, like, bro. So
Somebody.
thank you, LA Knight, for making sure you had all your clothes on before you went out there. And because I don't know what else he was doing if he was
Maybe he
coming
just
out
got to the building.
Yeah, who knows? But him and Logan looked like they were about to set up something, and they already have history because of the time with the United States Championship.
Yep.
But I think Mets fans, it might be hard right now, but it's not as hard as LA Knight fans. LA Knight fans go through it more than anybody in the business because, and we'll get to it, but now LA Knight for sure is going to have some time off. For sure going to have some time off. And well-deserved. Well-deserved. They found a way through the storyline to do it, but yeah, we'll get to that. Right now, the Vision have this mystery man just at their beck and call. But, you know, Paul Heyman says he doesn't know who it is. So we can just join stables just because. You know who it is, Paul. Quit lying. And also Braun Breaker is tripping. Braun Breaker's tripping, bro.
Well, I don't know if he's tripping. He's just ready.
That boy on one.
He's ready to take over, you know, and yeah, and that's the other thing, dude. This guy keeps popping out in Vision business, and you got to wonder: is he part of the Vision, or are we going to see maybe a little? I don't know where we're going with this. I'm not even going to speculate. Right? I got no creative liberty for this right now, man. Other than I'm gonna sit back and just watch and see where this goes, because, like I said, to me, it's a different guy each time. So. Are we just building up to one person? Or are we building up into, a whole Man in Black, aka Johnny Cash faction? You know, is it more than one for a reason? You know what I'm saying? So
right. We know nothing, Jon Snow.
We gotta, right. He, Jon Snow, according to his girl, was a proper lover, and just good on him, I guess. You know what I'm saying?
Proper.
Yeah, she said, you're a proper lover.
If a lady looked at me and said, "You're a proper lover," I'd be like, well, of course.
I mean, I can't think of many better compliments, to be honest with you.
I appreciate it. Thank you. You see, you have an eye for talent. Thank you. Yes. But so the Vision, they had, they destroyed Rey Mysterio. No reason. And then Logan Paul, I will say this, because when the Vision was starting, we were like, oh, my God. Well, I was like, oh my God, here we go with this fake bloodline BS, yada, yada, yada. Logan Paul as evil Sami Zayn works. I love it. I love him in the Vision. I think I kind of dig it. Because he's actually like believable in that role of like, he want to be down, but he don't really know if they like him like that because everybody hate him. And like, he trying to be cool with him. Like, it's just, I see so much comedy there that can happen. And oh my God, I can't believe I'm about to say this. I'm happy for Logan Paul. I'm happy for him. I think he found a spot that he can have some real magic right now, besides just being, just himself. And I think we're going to really see something special out of that evil Sami Zayn. And before you get in the comments, well, the Bloodline was a heel faction, and we all know that Sami was kind of put in there, and it kind of like made the Bloodline likable. But Logan Paul, everybody hates him. But I think there's it's a positive little role for him, and I dig it. I mean,
Logan comes out, like we said, he attacks because Ray's supposed to have a match with Finn Balor.
Yeah, Finn Balor.
Logan comes out, then the Masked Man comes out, and then LA Knight comes out. So the match technically between Finn and Ray It didn't happen. So on the record, the match was declared
Oh, no contest.
no contest. Okay. So yeah, we'll see where that goes, and then we followed up. We had a World Tag Team Championship match between Dragon Styles, AJ, and Dragon Lee versus the War Raiders. The War Raiders, man, it's funny that they always kind of make me laugh because it's like the bigger guy in the group is the more agile, more air-based one, and then the smaller guy is like this mini tank powerhouse. Eric is just like, he shouldn't be that strong. No. You know what I mean? He definitely shouldn't. And then you got Ivar always doing top rope stuff, said about 350, 360 pounds. It's pretty impressive.
Absolutely. If they can find a way to add Otis, bro, they have like a pretty unstoppable team right there of just mini tanks, like these mini boulders of men. But yeah, I love that the War Raiders, every time I almost forget about them,
here they come.
They pop up and give me a good match.
Yeah, they're great.
And then I'm like, where have you been? Like, where are you? And I think it's just injuries. I swear, like, Triple H has to have a bug in my house because my sister, she like says, man, we got to get this tag team division in order. And then bam, the Usos are back. New Day's out there.
New Day's doing commentary and
it was great.
Sorry,
no, I was just saying, like, they found a way to make the Jay tantrum make sense. There are some things that still have to be answered, but like you need Roman on screen to answer them. But like Jay and Jimmy being officially back together, that's big news.
Yeah, and AJ, of course, and Dragon win, and then the New Day come in the ring to confront them, and here come the Usos, and just with a simple sentence, they're just like, Usos were back as a tag team. Mm-hmm. A lot of people are going to be like, wait, what? Like, because there really wasn't an explanation other than Jay just didn't think he was getting it done, Dolo, it seems like. And now they're back. I don't know. I feel, we talked about this last week, right? And I put this on our Instagram story, when Jimmy and Jay came down and Jay got the baby from the mom and, they're doing the entrance. Yeah. And I put that on our Instagram story and I was like, I've been seeing people on the IWC say that, Jay Uso isn't popular anymore. And then they do a wide shot of literally everybody in the arena. Mm-hmm. And it's just like, yeah, okay. Like, I respect to Dutch Mantel, right? Veteran in the wrestling business, knows far more than I do. But he did a pod and he said that, Jay has to do something to get popular again. And I'm like, what do you, and then literally on YouTube, there were 50 comments saying how they were over Jay and he needs to do this, that, and the third to get popular again. I'm like, at what point once Jay got to that level, has he not been popular? Because the only people that seem to have a problem with Jay are the people sitting on their phones and their laptops typing stuff. Because like I said last week, you and I have been to multiple shows since we've been doing this. Yeah. Jay Uso has gotten no worse than the second loudest pop on any show that we've seen. And yet, so I just don't understand how people are saying that they're over it or the fans are over it or they're sick of him or sick of it. I hate where I'm strong with a lot of these folks, man, for no reason.
Yeah, it makes me ask, what's your definition of popular? What do maybe are we talking about two different populars? Because that dude is popular. Like he is like that dude is the guy. So you can show me all the screenshots of all the YouTube videos and all the dislikes, and even though we know those can be botted, whatever. But you can show me all the hate comments and all of that, and it was still, let's just say, I'm going to be generous and say you can find me 100,000 dislikes. 100,000 is nothing compared to the millions.
And the
millions of Jay Uso fans, bro. I know I be yeeting every time, and that dude is up there with his brother, kissing hands and shaking babies.
Kissing hands and shaking babies. Nice. Nice.
Any random stranger that's like, take my baby.
Take my baby.
Take my baby. Like,
You know what I mean? Like, you know the confidence you got to have in a brother you don't know to just give him your 9-month-old?
Take my baby.
What if he drops her?
Yeah, bro.
You know?
And meanwhile, you don't go for no type of, like, let me catch her. You just there with your phone. You feel safe. That's what main event Jey Uso does for you.
That's what he brings to the table. So yeah, we'll see. I think we're both in favor of the tag team division getting some shine. I think we're probably going to end up getting, a 3-way tag match between Dragon Styles, New Day, and the Usos. And I'll just say this: sign me up for that.
That's
I will. So we'll see where this goes. The heel New Day with Grayson Waller is just comedy to me. Man, we're Grayson Waller fans here too, so I like how he's kind of like, obviously never be a Big E replacement. No. It's impossible to replace what Big E brought to the table and who he is, but it's kind of interesting to see, Grayson Waller run with those cats and kind of just fit in. I don't know how it doesn't make sense.
Does not make sense. I don't even remember when it happened. Can't even tell you when he joined, but I just have accepted it. Like,
it's just cool, yeah. Now if I see those two, I'm like, where's Waller at? So we'll see where that goes. And then we had Stephanie Vicaire, the women's champion, come to the ring. Yeah, yes, Lord. And then here comes Nikki Bella. Yes, Lord, to come down and say she wants a rematch. And again, you and I have talked about this. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it. This Nikki Bella hatred or revisionist history on the Bella twins is kind of annoying because I remember in real time how big the Bella twins were. Right. I remember I did a fantasy football podcast in 2010, and the Bellas came on, right when they were trying to break through. Here's a funny story. I remember being at a Super Bowl party that year. And I think Nikki texts me asking, hey, can you get us into this DirecTV party? Then a year later, I'm texting her like, hey, can you get me in this DirecTV party? And here's the thing. I work for DirecTV. Okay. And I couldn't get in. The Bellas were huge. Nick, so I don't know. The revisionist history's got to stop, but whatever, because from out of nowhere, as Nikki is on the apron saying how she wants a rematch, here comes one half of the Hard R's,
right?
Raquel, and she pulls Nikki on the shoulders. Let's say she Kevin Nash, Rey Mysterio's her into the ring post. And then declares that she wants a title match, and as her and Stephanie are staring at each other, it was like a Hogan and Andre moment where you got one like, geesh, but Stephanie, she ain't no punk, man. She's down. And I find it also interesting. We talk about the IWC. Did you notice how she made a note to say she's over, and it's not just because of Devil's Kiss?
Yeah, that tells me them writers is on Twitter, bro.
That's a big butt to the people online who's saying, by the way, did that help her get over? Absolutely. Everyone's got
moves help people get over.
Yeah. Guess what? You know what helped The Rock get over? The people's elbow.
Which was a joke.
Right? There's so many moves, but and I think maybe we have a little, we're into it because we help put the Devil's Kiss name out there. Yeah. So of course that just aids in her popularity. But if you're going to sit here and tell me you don't think Stephanie Vicaire is one of the best wrestlers in the world right now, then you really aren't watching enough wrestling, or you're just hating to be hating.
Right.
And you're going to stay mad because guess what? She ain't going nowhere anytime soon. So I'm going to give them the cape, Shay, and that way they can be
super mad.
There you go.
Yeah. But let me just say this. We have openly defended Nikki Bella on this show with nothing but facts to combat the IWC. And Nikki, I'll defend you. I'll fight the world. I'll fight the world, Nikki. I'll fight him.
Listen, stop
I'll fight him one by one.
We are professional here, O'Shea Jackson.
I'm just saying, from a journalistic standpoint, I'll fight the world, Nikki. Raquel had her looking like a starfish on the ground. Well, also, number two, second point, Raquel, I respect you for coming out with your colors. Come out with your colors on Kansas City with your Houston
move.
I was
Texans,
man. I love that. I may be a Los Angeles Ram, but I was raised by the autumn wind, and the autumn wind is a Raider, and I hate the Chiefs. So shout out to Raquel, the capital of the hard R's.
Yeah, she came out there. The Texans had just beat the Chiefs, and she comes out there with that top. But here's the thing: I don't think anybody was complaining about it. I'm sure.
Hey man,
yeah, that I mean,
what you gonna do, bro?
So here's an interesting thing now, Shay. Go back to the Judgment Day's clubhouse, and Liv Morgan's back, of course. Hi, Liv, and she's asking Sis like, what's the deal? I didn't know, because the week before, as we see Liv hand Roxanne, one of the Kabuki Warriors tag team straps, and they stood triumphant in the ring. I think we said this. We thought, okay, the Hard R's are going to be going for the tag titles. Liv will go for the women's title again. And then it got kind of switched with Raquel going, I didn't know I had to run everything by you, which Liv handled pretty well. She's like, no, you don't, but I just thought, and so now Raquel's like, I got to go make sure I get this match. And it was very interesting because Liv just turned to Roxanne and was like, all right, it's me and you. And Roxanne was like, what? Like, really?
Hold on, because Roxanne, friend of the show, first ever 2-time women's guest on the No Contest Wrestling podcast. But you was about to go out there with Bailey and Lyra by yourself,
right?
You better take Liv Morgan, multiple-time world champion Liv Morgan.
Your stable mate. I guess maybe Roxanne wasn't, because we all didn't know where she was going to fit once Liv came back. Right. Liv was like, all right, she's gonna go get that world title. Yeah. We're getting it. We're a tag team now. And Roxanne was like, okay, I guess.
Yeah, man. Just say yeah. Just say yeah. Let's sell these tickets, sell these shirts.
Right as well. Having any gold is good, and you want, you're the Judgment Day. I heard read somebody say that it's time to get rid of the Judgment Day. But as we said last week, after John Cena literally touched every member of the Judgment Day in his last PLE, kind of made them made a little bit, right? So I can't see them breaking this up anytime soon.
Yeah, dog. It's like they tested the waters twice already. It's not happening. And then with like the tag team division already thin, bro. Like and now we're gonna take away from people who've had the belt 3 times already. Relax, everybody. It's just time to get rid of them. Why? It's working. It works. What they need to get rid of is that song, because it's the most confusing record they got on there. I never know when the Judgment Day is coming out until Finn and Funko Pop. Yeah, JD is standing right there on the top of the ramp. I don't know it's them until it's Judgment Day.
The original song was banging, man.
Come on, bro. On the other side, it was a banger. Yeah. There was nothing like that Philadelphia WrestleMania. When I heard that drop when Priest came out to cash in, I was like, this song is amazing.
Yeah, it warmed me up because I was freezing that night. It was cold.
Bro. I just got my pinky tips back from that WrestleMania.
So then you got Roxanne going against the Bird Lady, Lyra, with Bailey, and Roxanne gets the dub. It's the Pop Rocks. She gets the win. Her and Lyra are going to be doing this for a while. I hope they like each other. Yeah. Because we're looking at 10 years of those two getting it on. So
Stocky and sturdy.
Boy, oh boy.
Bro, they short and they got stature. They short and got stature. That's all I'm saying. My God.
And then we have Los Angeles Knight against Logan Paul. And you might as well say against the Vision, because they all got in and handled him. And then, I don't know, man. It's like, did LA Knight do something to make somebody backstage mad? Because, man, it was like a 20-minute dissection of Los Angeles Knight before they went backstage.
TJ, the match was over. We went to commercial, came back, then they cut a promo. LA Knight made it to the back. Braun Breaker's in the middle of talking, and they decide, oh, let's go beat his ass some more.
Want to go? Hey, you want to go get? Yeah, okay.
Yeah. They whooped his ass for so long that it said at the bottom, the live event has ended.
And I mean, and then he gets the Braun Strowman treatment where he gets Logan and Bronson put him on top of a car, and then Bronson Reed climbs up and he hits a super tsunami on Los Angeles night. And guess what happens after you get hit with that tsunami? You ain't coming back anytime soon.
Yeah, that's boy. I will see you after Mania.
I mean, at the Rumble at least.
Yeah, you
like
gone.
what did
You
LA
gone.
Knight do?
Yeah, and if you heard, go for our fans, go back and listen to the car alarm after the tsunami, because Bronson Reed hit the hell out that car where the cars start going. It don't have like a normal car alarm. You just hear, I promise. Go back to the end of Raw and come back here and tell me that car is not making that noise.
Hey, how'd the car sound again?
I promise. I swear to God, bro. I was ready for the normal car alarm. Boy, he hit the wind out of a car. That was incredible. But yeah, Los Angeles night is looking like Louisiana night right now. And it's they got to have some sort of plans for this return, because he got to come back with a vengeance, because, call the coroner, get the yellow tape, chalk him out. That's GG's.
GG's? What's GG's?
GG's is good game. That's gamer talk. Good game, bro. That's it. Hell, fellow, well met. It's you out of here, dog. So,
Wouldn't be you.
LA Knight fans, y'all are some of the strongest brothers and sisters out there. Okay, yeah. I'm so sorry, but it's GG's right now. Y'all gotta you gotta pass the sticks. It's not good right now. It's not good ever, but it's not good right now. Oh, they not gonna like that.
So that was Raw. And how about this? How about the big thing? So before the NXT World title match between Ricky Saints and Obafemi, who shows up but Cody Raheem Rhodes?
Yeah.
And he tells these two, and by the way, this was kind of like slipped in there like, wait a minute, what? He lets them know that whomever walks out of that ring with the NXT Championship is going to get a chance to face him at Saturday night's main event. Now, I'm not sure if it's a title match or not. Maybe I missed it. I'm assuming it probably isn't, but I don't know. Is it do you know?
No, it's not a title match.
Not a title match.
No.
But that's something, man, because it kind of goes back to my idea months and months and months ago that Obafemi should be the one to retire John Cena. And obviously that is not going to be the case, but now we're going to get Cody Rhodes against Obafemi at Saturday night's main event. And it's what a way to introduce Obafemi to the worldwide WWE audience, man.
The universe, some may say. But I will, TJ, your idea of having Oba go against John Cena was to give Oba the rub of, this guy, it will be the future face of the company. It didn't pan out that way, but what's another way to get that out there, that feeling out there, that idea out there, have him go against the face of the company.
QB1.
Yeah. And honestly, I know what y'all gonna say, but I got the microphone. Oba should win. Oba should win, and Oba should win clean. I know. But think about Kevin Owens going against John Cena back in the day.
Right.
What that did. John could afford that loss. You think Cody can't afford a loss? Look at the size of Oba. Now,
Cody's very protected in the company. He might be the most protected wrestler in the business outside of maybe, I was going to say Kenny Omega, but even he isn't, I don't think, as protected as Cody is.
It would be very interesting to see, But the right thing to do, as much as you've built that dude up, as much as you've made him be this force, and the fact that he just got back from his time off, he's only had, I guess he's had 2 matches, but Oba's got to win.
I agree with you.
It's my Stephen A. Smith voice. Don't play with me.
Gotta go over.
Yeah.
Oba Femi's gotta be the man.
Goldberg is my favorite wrestler of all time. Ain't that weird?
I do agree, obviously, that Oba should go over. It's not going to be clean, though. Drew McIntyre, friend of the show, is going to interfere with this match, cost Cody, and Oba's going to get the dub in the non-title match.
I like that.
That's kind of how I feel.
That's safe. I've completely forgot Cody and Drew have this thing going on. Mm-hmm. That's the safer bet. That's the safer way to do it. All right, yeah. I'm fine with that. That's a win-win-win.
It's a win, you know.
You push that storyline forward. You keep Oba. Yeah, perfect.
And, you know, we go back and forth about this whole the last time is now tournament. A lot, which was won by the Ring General Gunther. You know, a lot of people were in the feelings about that. Some people say, like, Cena made it seem as though he's going to elevate a new talent. Some people don't like the fact that it was, you know, Gunther that won. And I'm kind of torn because I feel like my idea might have been better than this whole tournament, but whatever, didn't happen. But the thing about Gunther is he's believable, man. And it's going to be very interesting to see what they do with this match. Here's the thing. Today on the Rich Eisen show, we had a guest on the show, and it was Gunther, the ring general, as he came on the show. And Rich was, you know, cool enough to kind of let me run this interview with him. And, you know, we got a lot of no contest mentions out there, just so you know. I threw that out there on the main show. But one thing I found interesting, and I brought up the fact that Gunther, and let me see just make sure I have this quote right. Gunther said that in his promo on Raw, he promised to choke the hustle, loyalty, and respect out of Cena. And he vowed that he would eventually give up. So I asked him that. Amongst other things, I was like, you mentioned that you wanted him to give up. I'm like, is that something that you're looking forward to doing? I'm like, because Cena hasn't tapped out since I think it was 2008, the Kurt Angle. And basically, Gunther said that his goal is to grab John Cena by his neck and pull back and wait and watch his hand hit the mat. And he chokes him out and he makes him give up. So that's what Gunther is looking forward to doing, or what he's looking to do to John Cena in his final retirement match. And, also asked him about being the person who retired Goldberg and the possibility of retiring John Cena. It was, I think we had a great interview with him, and everybody, if you get a chance, check out the video on YouTube, the Rich Eisen show. It'll be out soon. But yeah, he's looking not to just powerbomb him and get in the win shade. He wants to tap John out. He wants to make him quit in this final match. So that's interesting.
It's going to be a very exciting Saturday. A lot of tears in a lot of people's eyes, I'm sure. And if he take out Goldberg and he take out Cena, if I'm AJ Styles, I'm watching my back that whole next year, bro.
Yeah, I asked him, I said, are you prepared to be the most hated man in wrestling after
That was
Saturday?
Randy, the legend killer? Bro, I could not stand Randy, bro.
And by the way, his face lit up when I asked him that question. He's ready for it. You know, he doesn't feel that the people deserve to be happy. So, yeah, man.
What an evil, awesome human being.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, TJ, we've been yapping. And earlier, we had a guest. You, in your New York state of mind, had to creep in on it a little bit. But
yeah, we were still filming the main show, wrapping up, so it took me a little bit to get into the interview with.
Yeah, and you healthy, so you be walking, and you can't get a cab. But yeah, so but
did I mention it was cold?
Yeah, I just we've been usually we say our guest's name in the beginning and like the intro, but it's a strange situation. So let me just get to it. Next guest on the No Contest Wrestling Podcast is a man of many skills. He's an accomplished singer, guitarist. The man is a former TNA World Champion and hater of Superman. Say his name and he'll appear. Joe Hendry. Welcome to the No Contest Wrestling Podcast, man.
Thanks for having me. You threw me off there, but yeah, I'm not a Superman guy.
Yeah, hey.
Not about it.
Me neither. He's so
unrelatable.
Yeah, thank you. Anybody who just says their favorite superhero is Superman is just like such a cop-out. Like,
yeah,
you got no struggles. Like, yeah, we get it. Like,
we need some flaws, man. We need some flaws.
Exactly. Heavy Batman guy. I'm a huge Batman guy because like I could be if you put your mind to it and you got the financial backing, you could be Batman. It's just like, he's a real guy.
That's why like Chael Sonnen was always my favorite MMA fighter, because he would just be honest about how he was feeling mentally before going into certain competitions, and he would be real. Whereas like there's other guys who would just destroy everybody, but Chael would be real about what he thought he might do and what he was afraid of, and it was so relatable. And that to me is so much more interesting than somebody who just destroys everybody.
Relatability is likability, man. So, just to get into this, what we like to do here at the No Contest Wrestling Podcast for our first time guests. When did you get bit by the wrestling bug? What age? What was it that kind of set you on this path?
So I was not a wrestling fan as a young kid. Mm-hmm. I got into it as a teenager. My cousins were big fans of it. I never had, in the UK, you needed Sky or cable to watch it, and I didn't have any until much later. The first time I ever saw wrestling, though, I was a kid, and the first time it had an impact on me was in the UK at 10 p.m. or 9 or 10 p.m. Cartoon Network switched over, and I saw Ric Flair wrestle. I was watching Cartoon Network, and then all of a sudden I'm seeing Ric Flair, and I was like, I hate this guy. And I didn't really know what wrestling was, but Ric Flair was so good at his job, I hated him. And the thing is, like, Ric Flair is like in my top 3 favorite wrestlers ever now. So that's the first time I can remember wrestling really having an impact on me. I became hooked when I actually got into it through the video games. I first got Warzone, and I enjoyed the ability to create your own wrestlers and characters. And at that time, I remember like I used to put movie characters in the game and all this, and I liked it being creative with the games. That was my main thing. And then I started going, well, let me watch some of this. And then around the end of the Attitude Era is when I became absolutely hooked. Probably about 15 years old is when I was like, I'm going to be a wrestler. But I never actually had the balls to do it until I was 25.
Oh man, I mean,
24 turning 25. Yeah.
It's definitely, it's a hard job to just commit to at 15.
Yeah.
Now, you mentioned video games. That's kind of the same way that I got introduced to wrestling. Fans of the show know I talk about my big brother Daryl, who introduced me to wrestling through the Sega Genesis or the Mega Drive. And I played WWF Raw.
I really appreciate the fact that you've given our European viewers a bit of a shout out there by mentioning the Mega Drive. Thank you. Yeah. I have a Mega Drive. For people who don't know, that's the European version of the Genesis. But carry on. We're friends already, man. I'm liking it.
Absolutely, man. But yeah, so I was playing WWF Raw was the game, and my brother introduced me to Bam Bam Bigelow, Shawn Michaels, Doink the Clown, Undertaker, and it was through this game. And then one day he was like, yeah, we could watch this. And then from there it was like, oh, I'm hooked, because it was the crazy. Should not have been watching. At the age I was, should not have been watching. But it was just, I couldn't put it down. I still haven't put it down. And I mean, now it's my other job. Now, you mentioned gaming. Now TJ's not here, so I get to really crack into this. What does gaming do for you? And like, is it still like you still got the Twitch going on?
So I think I was the third wrestler to get a partnership on Twitch. The number 3 back in 2017, I think it was. So it was pretty much my full-time job for a couple of years, and I've got such fond memories of me and my brother used to play PUBG, and I actually fast forward, I was in PUBG Mobile, which was crazy. And now I still play it with my cousin. So it's this weird kind of family thing that we kind of use it to keep in touch. So for me, video games are a chance to like me and my like you say, being a wrestler is really hard. You have to do it at this level, you have to give it everything that you've got all the time. So you've got to be really strategic with the time off that you have. And, just putting an hour or two aside to, just throw on the Xbox, and it's more of a social thing for me now. I actually, I don't know if you feel this way, but when I get so like right now, I am obsessed with getting better at wrestling and trying to be the absolute best professional wrestler that I can be. And that is, for me, the primary reason why I chose to come to NXT was to evolve as a wrestler and because I really feel I can take this all the way, and the Performance Center has the tools for me to do that. But I become like I am obsessed with getting better. So I actually find it super hard to switch off from the wrestling business and relax. But if my friends and family are kind of playing games and stuff, then I can kind of go, okay, like it's tough for me. I do miss the days of being able to play single player games, but now I'm just like, oh, I could have used that hour to, improve in this way or that way. And it's tough, man. But I think using games as a social thing is a great way to kind of unwind for an hour or two for me.
Absolutely. It's definitely like the way that I describe it to people who don't get gaming is it's my glass of wine at the end of the day. Like I need just let me get like 45 to an hour on the sticks. Back in my, my prime, I would give you 3-4 hours, knock that out easy. But like, just finding that time to kind of unwind, disconnect a little bit from the drama of the real world. But I feel that completely. But you mentioned PUBG. I will say we had AJ Styles on, and during the interview, he panned his camera and he had PUBG on pause while he was doing the interview. So if you get a chance, you got to hit up the Phenomenal One, man.
I've heard this is the situation that we're in. Not only is it impossible to be better than AJ Styles as a wrestler, apparently he's a world-class gamer as well. So he's doing everything.
Yeah, he's a sicko dude. Now, cool. Me and my partner TJ Jefferson, when we first met you, was behind Gorilla in TNA. Now, we always describe TNA as probably the funnest time that we've had as wrestling fans at a wrestling event, because of it was just a feeling of camaraderie there at TNA. It really did feel like everyone cared about like the other one succeeding. Can you talk about the environment that you experienced over at TNA now that you're over at WWE?
I think that I've been incredibly fortunate in that where I've been most lucky in my career is I've been able to experience different portions of the wrestling industry in particularly hot periods of time. So it's when I first started, my second show was with ICW in Scotland, which was like the biggest indie in the world for quite a long time, actually. And they went up to doing 6,000 people in the Hydro. So it was like I got to experience that right at the start. And then I got to experience What Culture Pro Wrestling, which again, when that was doing thousands. And then I got to experience, there was a reboot of World of Sport. I got to experience Ring of Honor. And then I got signed to TNA after the pandemic. And for me, like it was that was almost like a rebirth of my career, because it was like wrestling was completely taken away from me. Like in the UK, there just wasn't, wrestling for like a couple of years. So I knew I was it was do or die time, and I had to give it everything. And for me, like I've made so many amazing friends, so many great colleagues from TNA, and then the partnership just worked so well. I'm extremely grateful to both companies for working together in the way that they did to put me in best position to give my best efforts. And I feel like we achieved a situation where everybody won. It was like TNA won, WWE won, I won, like it was the roster won. And I think that right now, it's just been, I'm very grateful for my time at TNA Wrestling. And I've got a lot of friends there, and I'm super happy for them too, and the success that they're having. And for me, like I'm super excited for this phase of my career, because I'm so excited about the journey that I'm on, and just what I'm learning and the positions that I'm in. And like right now, for example, Leon Slater is one of my best friends, and we were both in the main event of a WWE PLE, and things like that are just that they don't come around every day, and to be put in a situation like the Iron Survivor, which is such a complex but exciting match, that was a real step up for me. And to be able to do that with one of my best friends, and he's still in TNA, I'm here. It's an amazing time for professional wrestling, and I'm very excited.
Absolutely. I think we figured it out. I think we got an introduction to my man TJ Jefferson, the best in the world. What's going on, man?
Hey, yo. What's up, fellas? What's up, Joe?
Hello. How are you?
I'm good, brother. Sorry about that. We're in New York working. And we just had some internet problems trying to get logged on, but here we are now.
Here we are.
Absolutely, man.
I had a great interview with Gunther today, by the way. That guy's not intimidating at all. but surprisingly, very, very nice guy, man. Believe it or not.
The bad guys always are, man, except Dom.
Right? So I came, and plus I knew I could, come in a little late, because I figured you guys would start talking video games, and the only thing I know, Joe, is Donkey Kong and Miss Pac-Man and some Super Tecmo Bowl. So I usually just let him handle that.
Damn, that's old school. Damn.
You said damn.
Yes, sir.
Original Donkey Kong. That's going back.
Yeah, Joe, I'm talking like the little mini arcade game. It was like yay big, and
that's where Mario was the heel.
Yeah, right. Yeah. A lot of people don't understand that. Donkey Kong was just minding his business.
Minding his business, bro.
Minding his business.
Here comes this dude, and he brings his brother later, and they're trying to hit my man with a mallet and some, barrels and stuff. Donkey Kong was chilling.
Yeah, and we cheer Mario on. It's all about perspective.
TJ, that's the most video game talk I've ever heard you say, bro. I'm impressed.
Well, Joe Hendry just brought it out of me.
I feel you, man. We were just talking about his time in TNA and what it meant to him. And also, Joe, there's no way to get around it, because we talked about how, it's just an amazing time, with the partnership, you and Leon Slater being able to be in the main event of a PLE. But you were at the PLE. You were able to get not only a spot at Mania, but I'm talking a pop that blew the roof off the place. Talk to us about what it felt like to go down that ramp with the TNA title at WrestleMania. What's going through your mind?
It was one of those situations where it was so ludicrously big of an opportunity that there wasn't any time to overthink it, which I was very grateful for in retrospect. Because I talked to someone about this the other day. I actually had 3 bookings that day, the day of WrestleMania. I was at WrestleKid, and then it was WrestleCon or I think it was Wrestle. Anyway, it was at WrestleCon, thank you. So it was WrestleCon, and then I went from WrestleCon to go to where WWE had the merchandise set up and the signings. I did a signing with WWE. And then I arrived. So that was like 2 bookings done. I'd been going for like 10 hours or something by that time. And then I got to WrestleMania in disguise in this car. And we're in traffic as WrestleMania's going on. And I'm like, man, this is intense. And yeah, I didn't take my disguise off until they took me to a little room, and one of the coolest moments ever was they said, "Here's your WrestleMania shirt," and I was like, "Oh my god!" Like, it was a complete surprise. I didn't see it until that moment. So that shirt that I was wearing at WrestleMania, that was presented to me like as I was going to Gorilla. So that was such a cool feeling. And yeah, it's just been such an incredible year. Like, I've got in my in my main room. We in the UK we call it a living room. What's the main room called here in the United States?
Living room, den.
Living room. All right. So in my living room, I've got like we have these kind of these little titles that you can have to remember the events. Like, fans can buy them, and they're so cool. They're in these little cases, but I've got one for Rumble, I've got one for WrestleMania with the kind of I was there type thing, and it's just so cool, man. I've got so many positive memories of that day, like just just of that week. Working with Randy was just it's so exciting when the opportunity is so beyond anything that you could possibly fathom. And you just think, man, I thought back to all the struggle, all the times where you're just like, I remember being broke and just thinking, it just doesn't matter how hard it is. I'm going to keep pushing. I won't be denied. I'm going to keep going. And then to have moments like this where you feel it all pays off in one huge fell swoop of a moment that you just couldn't possibly fathom. It was, I'm super grateful that moment, I got to have that moment. Like, no one can ever take that away from me. I wrestled Randy Orton in a featured match at WrestleMania. It's insane. Sometimes I have to see it to go, oh yeah, that happened, which is, it's wild. It's wild, man.
Yeah, dude, we were in the building. Yeah, and when that music hit, it was like, no way. Like, there was like a feeling of just like, there's like, and man, it felt like electricity from our perspective. So we could only imagine walking to the ramp, having to like kind of run through what you got to do once you get in the ring.
Well, let me tell you this. So I'm in Gorilla, and the moment when it really sunk in was I'm watching the video package for Randy's 20th WrestleMania, and I'm just like, I'm enjoying the video package. I'm like, oh, this is a great video package, and I'm like, oh, it's me. It's me. I'm doing it. And then I remember, so Triple H came over to me, and we had a great moment, and he told me, and I don't mind sharing this because he shared it publicly that night as well. And he said, you will do many more of these, but this one is the fun one. Go enjoy it. And that was so cool. And then they loaded me up in kind of where I make my entrance, and there's like a video wall that opens behind me. So I'm standing here while Randy's doing his promo with my back to the entrance for probably about 2 minutes. And like on most events, it's usually 5 seconds I'll stand there before my entrance plays, and it's very tense, and you're you're just waiting for that, audience reaction. But to stand there for like 2 minutes, and that at some point that video wall is going to open up and the music's going to play, and that 2 minutes, man, I can still feel it, just all the thoughts that were going through my head. And then to spin around, like, all I can describe it as is it was like a wave of energy. And it felt like something physical was like pushing me back as I was walking to the ring. It's a feeling I really have tried to put it into words to explain it, but you just can't. I'm super grateful that I got to have that opportunity, and it really just motivated me to work even harder and become the star that I know that I can be. And the truth is, like, for WWE to put me in that position, that's I now have a big responsibility. I have to live up to the opportunities that they're giving me,
And that's something that a lot of people don't grasp. The people who don't watch wrestling is like, there are moments, me and TJ talked about, just the moments that they trust Dominic with, or that when you get the company's trust for a big moment, it says so much more than people realize of just putting a name on a piece of paper. Like, it is that trust from the company, like it makes or breaks people. So, man, we were extremely happy for you.
So have you
when
guys
you get
discussed?
Sorry.
Oh, go ahead, Joe. I'm sorry.
I was just going to say, when you get that trust, you must treat it with the utmost respect for the company, for your colleagues, and for the people the fans, for everyone who's been advocating for you to get these opportunities. You have to prove them right. You have to do your best to show them that their trust was well placed.
So the Royal Rumble, before we even get to WrestleMania, you had Shay and I, we were second row there, and you had your Royal Rumble moment. And when your music hit, it was the same thing, man. Let's talk about that a little bit. What was that feeling like?
So that one was that was also just insane. And it was that was like my first experience of a huge event like that. And I was hoping that I'd get a good reaction, but to get the level of the reaction that I got, it was just mind blowing. And then, to be able to go in the ring and work with, the likes of work like with The Miz and Sheamus and Roman Reigns. And it was just like, it was such an insane visual to watch it back and see me in the ring with Roman Reigns and feel like I belonged. And in that moment, it was incredible, to be honest. And I remember one of the best pieces of advice that I got given. This is something that JBL pulled me aside, when I was in TNA, and had this conversation with me. The Miz had this conversation with me, that when you're doing these, you have these big moments, whether it's a title win or a huge PLE or something like that, you have to take a moment to just look around and see the scope of the arena and feel the energy and understand the magnitude of what's going on. Even just for a couple of seconds, just take it in, because it will be over in a flash. Your music will hit, you'll blink, and you'll be in the back and you'll be done. That's what they told me. It will be gone in a flash. So you have to enjoy it and be in the moment when you're out there. And that thankfully I got that advice before I had these opportunities. So I was able to do that when I was out there, and it was a great feeling.
Yeah, I heard Jimmy Hart once, and I can't remember the moment he was saying, but Jimmy Hart was doing an interview, and he said when it was going on, before he left, he stopped and he took a look around at the audience and everything. He goes, because I want to make sure I remember this for the rest of my life, And so, what you said, that really resonates. And with these pops that you've been getting, man, what do you attribute your popularity to, man? Because you get these pops, people would die to get the reaction that you get. So I guess the first question,
man, they believe.
Right? So I guess the first question is, what do you attribute this popularity to? It's insane. And two, how did you come up with, did you do this whole spin thing? Was that before the crowd got into it, or was that something that you already were doing and it just resonated with folks?
So, there's a number of factors that go into getting me here in terms of my approach to it. First of all, I wrote the song, and I wrote the song because I wanted a more upbeat theme song, something that the fans would get involved with. And I thought, what can they do to interact with me whilst they're in their seat or standing? And I was like, well, they can clap their hands and they can wave their hands. So the chorus is wave your hands, and visually you see the clapping your hands. In the first version of the video that I had, 6 years ago now, the spin was it was a look to camera. But that's when I was learning the differences between the sort of British style of humor and entertainment, and bringing that over to America. So it's kind of like the difference between the UK office and the US office when it comes to taking an idea and bringing it into the world of wrestling. Wrestling is theater. Wrestling is big. It's over the top. So this became the full spin around with the smile. So that's kind of how I developed that. I think that one of the things that took it to the next level for me is, when I did the song on AJ Francis, that came out the same week as my single came out. So those two moments combined, that kind of was a big part in kicking everything off. But also, I think what really took it to the next level was when I started to do some interviews. Like I've done a couple of Chris Van Vliet interviews, and I was just very open about my approach to the business. And I think fans have resonated with the fact that, I was never the guy who, will just win everything the first try. But all throughout my life, I have just committed to just picking myself back up over and over and over again. And no matter how long it takes, and no matter how long I have to try, I will get it done, And so that includes, everything that I've done music wise. I also when I started professional wrestling, I wasn't satisfied with my spot. So I started amateur wrestling. I started fighting for real. And I won I won the British Championship in Greco and freestyle wrestling. And then I took those accomplishments back to wrestling because I thought, well, that's going to give me, legitimacy because I just wanted to legitimize myself in professional wrestling. But I remember people telling me like, oh, you can't start this sport at 26 and expect to do anything. But I took it to a pretty high level for to be the champion of not just Scotland, but Scotland, England, Northern Ireland, and Wales as a 26-year-old. That's it took me 4 or so years to do it. I think I did all that when I was 29, 30. But that took a lot of balls to do that. So I just, I'm glad that I did those things. I've taken a lot of risks, to kind of put myself out there like that. I could have failed. It could have, it could have been a tough road for me, but I've taken a lot of risks. I've bet on myself so many times. I've poured all my money and energy into professional wrestling. And I think people can resonate with, it's never too late. That's my message it's never too late. If you have a goal and you have a dream, just go out there and get it done. And if you have enough belief in yourself and you try to carry yourself in that, nobody's perfect, but I really do try my best to give as much as I can to this job and to the fans that support me. And I do try to do my best for this great business. And I feel that people resonate with that. And I'm super grateful for it in the spot that I'm in life.
Yeah. Even, in the short time of speaking with you now, your intelligence is shining through. Just the fact that you have a mind for not only, your physical attributes, which what we talked about earlier, but, you're finding ways to kind of in unorthodox ways still get it done. That might be the business degree popping out, but like you got a mind for it where you have all these situations where, you started late or, you say you wanted to be a wrestler, but then you don't start until 10 years later and still find a way to make it work. And then while you're wrestling, knowing to use your other skills with being a vocalist and the guitar and using that to skyrocket yourself. So I would ask, where does that attitude come from? Who are the people in your life that make the Joe Hendry we know today?
That's tough. I was very fortunate in that I had a lot of positivity from my parents. That was a huge positive for me. Like my dad has always been just like, he had belief in me before I had belief in myself. I've also been lucky to have incredible support from mom and my stepdad. But my dad told me that I was going to do these great things. And I remember I used to do judo as a kid, and my dad, I was like, oh yeah, this guy got his black belt, and I only do this. And my dad was like, you can get your black belt if you want. And I remember distinctly saying to him, I was like, no, I was a teenager, and I said, that's not for people like me. That's not for guys like me. I just never saw myself as anything. And then I remember when I got to about 19, 20, something changed within me, and I'd never finished anything. I'd never really stood out in any way, shape, or form, which is why, I get a lot of fans who ask me about motivation and things like that, and they don't understand that I was them. Like, there are times people tell me they struggle with confidence and motivation. There was a time where I just, I might have outwardly been portraying that I'm this and I'm that, but really just didn't have a whole lot of self-belief. But everything changed for me the day I got my black belt in judo. I think I was 20 or 21. And I remember, like, my dad went with me. And to get your black belt in judo, you can either like accumulate points, or you have to beat 3 guys in a row with no drink or water. And like, you just have to smash 3 guys. Like, if you don't like defeat them, you can't win on points or anything. You have to like smash them and like pin, or you have to basically throw them in such a way that you get 10 points, right? So I got to beat 3 guys, and they're all trying to do the same thing too. So and you got to qualify for that. So in my first 3 matches, I won 2 or 3. So I qualified for this matches with 3 guys. And then I do the first one, and the first one is hard fought. I get through it. I'm like, damn, I'm tired. And I just thought I saw the next guy, and he was kind of practicing his throws and doing this. And for some reason, I just thought, I'm going to destroy you. Like, you're standing in the way of, like, I am, like, this guy was there. He had all these people supporting him, and he's going, and he's practicing his moves. And I thought, you are getting destroyed the moment you get on this mat. I remember he walked in, and I just grabbed him and just threw him to the ground. And it was like immediately just like KO, not literal KO, but it was just like done.
Yeah.
And then so I'm like, oh man, I got 2 of the 3. I got 1 left. And then the last fight, I'm exhausted. My arms are burning because you're holding onto the judo kit, and it's just, you're tired, and you're like, and somehow it's like 3 minutes or something, and you got to hold them down for 30 seconds to get your 10 points and your win. There's only like 45 seconds left, and I'm like, oh man, I don't have the energy to throw him. We just end up on the ground, and I kind of got him down, but I didn't have the full throw, and I had my hands on his lapel, so this was not a tight hold. So this was just a battle of strength at this point, and I'm giving it everything I got. And he's starting to come up, and I looked up, and I saw my dad watching me, and he's like, come on. And I'm holding him, and I went close to him like this, and I went, no. And I pushed him back down. And then I just was like, no, this is my moment, man.
Yeah.
You're going down. And then the ref called it, and I was like, oh my God, I got my black belt. I never thought I would ever achieve anything like this. And then I thought, well, if I can do this, what else can I do? That's what kicked off. I just had to get 1 win. And that's what I say to people is, it's like, no matter how big, that was a big win, but if you can put yourself in a situation where you can get some small wins and start to build them up, momentum is unstoppable. Those smaller wins will become massive wins. Now, that was me in some local judo tournament. Now I've gone all the way to wrestle Randy Orton at WrestleMania. And that wasn't just one to the other. That was just small win after small win after small. And then they get bigger and bigger and bigger, and you can handle more and more pressure. But you got to put yourself in these uncomfortable situations to be able to handle it, you know?
Shit, getting a black belt will make me confident about everything.
Right? I'm walking down the street like, who wants some? But I love the way you put it. Like, this isn't like a points thing. This isn't a technical thing. You just got to go out there and just smash 3 people. Like, that's, man.
Yeah, I can't.
Ideally, you'd like to do it the technical way, but I just wasn't that technical, unfortunately. Sometimes you just have to, it was just, it was just one of these things where I think the point I was making, it was just like, I think sometimes in life when we have challenges, we have to really ask ourselves, am I actually giving 100% or am I really giving 85? Because I'll tell you now, there's, 70 athletes in the performance center who are willing to give 100. So you better be willing to give 100. It's that simple. When you're getting to the level that we're at, like the level that this takes to be able to be a star in WWE, it's the premier wrestling organization in the world. This is, and again, WrestleMania is the grandest stage. To be able to do this at this level, you have to give this absolutely everything. And one thing I love about the Performance Center is it keeps me on my toes every single day, because I'm just surrounded by world-class athletes, world-class talents. Like they all do these physical like this. We do like a cardio test. And I'm like, I'm going to have to go up against world-class athletes. And I cannot put myself in a position where I'm not willing to show up and be embarrassed. I have to be able to show up and compete with these world-class athletes. And I think that's what makes the experience of NXT so good for me, is because it keeps me on my toes all the time. It's the learning that I get there. I'm working really closely with Terry Taylor right now to just become the best professional wrestler I can be. And I'm like, wait a second. So I get paid to go in and learn from the best coaches in the world. Well, it's like, I remember having to pay all this money to do this, Right. It's like my job is to go in and get better at the craft that I love, I'm a pretty fortunate guy.
That's pretty dope, man. What a story, man. Joe, I remember we met you, when we were at TNA. I think the first TNA show we met you backstage, and I talked to you. I'm like, we'd love to get you on the pod. And you're like, yeah, we'll make it happen. So I'm just kind of tripping a little as I'm sitting here like, we made it happen. We said his name and he appeared.
In person one day. Yeah, it'd be cool to do it in person one day as well.
Oh, yeah. We love a good sit down.
Like we like to say, Joe, once you're NCW, you're NCW for life.
Man.
So and the door's always open for you. So whenever you're in town in LA, you come see us, man.
Now,
appreciate that, guys.
I know you said you found wrestling when you were 15. So, from there, when you were watching, this is a question I like to ask, it's just great to get from superstars. Can you remember a time where, as a fan, wrestling broke your heart? An example I always use is Hulk Hogan running The Rock over in an ambulance ruined my day. Like, I was so hurt until I see some sort of repercussion. Like, I was shook as a kid. Like, this was the worst thing in the world. So can you think of a time where wrestling broke your heart?
And I'll tell you one. I don't think I've shared this with you yet, Shay. And I'm bringing it up because we spoke about Randy Orton earlier. I think it was 2011 after Edge had to retire. Christian gets the ladder match against Del Rio for the World Heavyweight Champion. And I was and I guess I still am a huge Christian guy, in both, in my religious stature and as the wrestler Christian. But yeah, I'm a huge Christian, Mark. And bro, just like that whole story, him, Edge coming out in the Jeep, Christian climbing the ladder, Booker T on the call. I'll never forget it. Christian's going to grab that title. He's going to grab it. He goes, I know what it feels like. It's the best moment of your life, to that extent. And he gets that championship, and him and Edge have that moment, right? And then, SmackDown was recorded. So it happened on a Tuesday. Next thing you know, you're on the internet seeing that Randy Orton just beat Christian for the World Heavyweight Championship 2 days after. Bro, now, I'm not one of these people, some always like, I'm stopping wrestling or I take a break. I've never taken a break from watching wrestling, except for when I went to college and didn't have cable for a few years. When I tell you, I was mad, and then I watched SmackDown on Friday. It was either Thursday or Friday at that point. And the fans voted for Randy to have a match against Christian. Randy wins the title. I was so mad. And like I said, I'm a Randy Orton fan. I stopped watching for like 3 weeks. I don't know if my heart was broken, but I was so hurt because it was such a beautiful moment. And this man doesn't even get a week with the title. So that's kind of my broke my heart type moment.
I think for me, the match that had the biggest impact on me, and it's probably my favorite match, is, and I watched it the other week, is Ric Flair versus Shawn Michaels. And I remember it, again, being about rushing home from school, had WrestleMania taped, And I remember, I don't ever remember being like this for another wrestling match, but obviously Ric Flair's career was on the line. And, Ric Flair is my second favorite wrestler. Like The Rock was my favorite wrestler. He was kind of he kind of got me, into the business in the way that I'm into it. And, but what's that?
We got a thing with The Rock, because when you're in a stadium or you're in an arena, and as soon as you hear that, like you just oh man, it's so just like a jolt.
All right.
So sorry to interrupt, but
that's all right. That's all right. So I'm just going to be randomly later on today, and that'll just pop into my head. Yep. But, I remember. Now you're just taking me back to SmackDown too. Now you're just taking me back. I remember vividly. All right. So I remember being I was watching the match on the computer, and I remember I was just edging forward, like on the seat, like, every time something happened, and I was literally on the edge of my seat, like, is it going to happen? And then when he looked at me and he said, sorry, I love you, and then did the kick, it was like, oh my, I kind of knew it was coming, but when it happened, it was like, oh my goodness, because I just got the Ric Flair DVD collection, which is like an amazing 3-disc set. I think that, it's one of the best wrestling DVD sets of all time, and I was obsessed with this set. And I was really into it at that time. So I was kind of like, it's funny because Ric Flair was the earliest memory I have of wrestling. Then I really started to really love his promos and his older matches. So I was starting to become more and more of a fan of him at the time when he retired. And it was almost like I was like, oh man, I wish I'd have known more about him in the years that I'd been watching wrestling. So it was this weird thing where I just became like a super fan of somebody, and then they were forced to retire, So I think that was the match that had the biggest emotional impact on me.
Absolutely. I feel that as well, because I didn't know a lot about Rick. I just saw how everyone reacted whenever he'd be on TV or whenever he was in the building. It was just like it's him, it's him.
Yeah.
And, when I got older and I got to see that Steamboat match, man, I was like, okay, this is the guy they all remember right here. And of course, the promos. Say that again, TJ?
Yeah. I said that was the stuff that made me love wrestling, watching, Flair in the early, because, I started watching him in the early 80s. And the thing with Flair was he was the champion, and he really made you understand how prestigious it was to be, the national heavyweight champion, because Ric Flair wasn't on TV. When they started like Georgia Championship Wrestling and NWA and WCW, you'd have to, Saturday night at 6:05, you'd have to turn on WTBS and watch wrestling. And Ric Flair didn't come out every week. It was like a moment. It was like, Ric Flair is here today. And it's just like, what? So you weren't leaving that TV, and then he came out being Ric Flair. And it's, I think, Shay, you and I talked about this. We've finally gotten to an age now where kids are questioning the legends of our youth. Like, I've lived long enough, Joe, to see people question is Michael Jordan really good was he really all that? Or, Jay-Z and Eminem, were they really good rappers? Like, or, Ric Flair, like, what was he? You're like, no, like, what? Like, these kids just don't get it, man.
They don't understand. They weren't raised right.
Right. And the promos and everything. And then the Four Horsemen came, and Flair was like really the first heel that I ever saw that got cheers from the crowd, man. He was the man.
It's too much the man. Dude, I show people that Starrcade entrance, and I'm just like, look at that, man. Like
the match against Dusty?
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
And it's a
robe.
movie. It's a movie when he comes out. Just the man. We got to get Rick now. Got to figure that out. Somebody, I got to pay somebody. But
okay, Joe Hendry can put
Sorry, I was just
word in
going
for
to pivot. I was just going to say one thing real quick. I've actually just realized this second, and this sounds like it's a shameless plug of merchandise, but it's actually not. I've just realized I used to have a Ric Flair T-shirt that is like the exact same font as this. I don't know if you've seen one of his old WWE shirts, but I'm like, that's pretty cool.
Right.
I have official WWE merch that's in the same font as the old Ric Flair shirt. So there you go. Hey,
yeah, man.
You know, gotta mention the shirt every so often. It's a
I
cool shirt.
believe,
It's a cool
man.
shirt.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to pick one of those up.
WWEshop.com.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about right there.
As the great Mick Foley would say, cheap pop.
Cheap
But
pop, baby.
Yeah. I'll take it.
That's absolutely.
Joe, do you remember your welcome to wrestling moment? A bump that you took that might have took the wind out your sails.
Yeah, made you question everything.
I remember one time. So, do you know? And this wasn't like, for some reason, this wasn't like overly painful or like anything like that. It was more just what just happened. Do you know Big Damo?
Yeah.
So he was my
Big
first
Beard
coach.
Damo.
Amazing coach. He was Killian Dane in WWE. Amazing coach. Did so much for me in the early years of my career. But I was wrestling him in ICW, and they used a 14-foot ring. So he did the coast to coast, but he did the coast to coast in WWE. So he's done the coast to coast in a 20-foot ring, but he is doing the coast to coast in a 14-foot ring. And I remember he did the move on me, and I was sitting against the turnbuckle like this with the ropes on either side, and he does the coast to coast, and he does it, and I'm sitting outside the ring. I'm sitting on the floor, and I'm like between the guardrail and the ring, and I'm like, how did that even happen? So that was one. I'm trying to think of like the worst bump, the bump where I've gone, oh, like, I mean, I can't. Do you know what? I like to think, and this is, touch wood, everyone out when they say this, something. Anyway, I don't want to jinx myself, but I will give you Moose's, because I was involved in it.
Oh.
So I remember I was wrestling Moose, and Moose was adamant about, his ability to take these insane bumps. And there's one where I've got him in I actually had Moose in a sort of almost gorilla press position, believe it or not. And then I ran towards the ropes and gave him the press to the outside. And I was kind of thinking to myself, even while this was suggested to me, I just couldn't get my head around how this was going to work. And it was like, no, it'll be fine. And then Moose just fell 10 feet. And he was like, duh! And it was like, I heard it, and it was like, when all the air leaves somebody's body in a quarter of a second, it was just on the floor, and it was like, like no air, done, gone, like yeah. So that one was tough to see. I'm trying to think if there's any other really bad ones. I have to say, I've been pretty lucky. To be honest with you, I've been pretty lucky when it comes to bumps and injuries and stuff like that. I remember, I kind of laughed because it is ridiculous, but I've been wrestling for 13 years now. I remember Teddy Taylor saying to me, like, well, I'm sure doing this at your age, doing this as long as you have, I'm sure you wake up some days and you feel pain somewhere. And I was like, not really. I kind of almost felt bad, but like, nah, I'm super fortunate, super grateful for my health. Hopefully it continues, but yeah, I've been pretty lucky when it comes to wrestling. I can't think of anything that was, insane. But I will say, taking a superplex is a weird feeling, because you're just in the air for longer than you think you probably should be. It's like, it feels like you're in the air for like, it's probably only a couple of seconds, but it feels like 5 seconds, and you're like, haven't hit the mat yet.
Yeah.
Am I just gonna keep going? That's a weird one. Doing my dive. I will actually say, I want to give a public apology to Stu, WWE's legendary.
No, don't do this.
That's our guy, man.
Don't do this. What happened?
The legend. awesome guy. I get to Deadline, and I find out from Stu that when I wrestled Trick Williams at Battleground, I accidentally landed on Stu. And I want to give I didn't even know. I didn't know. So I want to give my public apology to Stu. You are a legend in our industry. And I did jokingly say after him, I'll I try, because I did my dive at Deadline as well, and I was just like, please don't land on Stu again. So yeah, I would like to offer my sincerest apologies to Stu.
Joe Hendry, known John Cena fan, almost took out John's camera guy.
Yeah. We're gonna clip this and send it to Stu, because we're big Stu fans.
Yeah, man, that's our
I'm a Stu fan. I'm a Stu fan. When he told me, I was mortified. But he's such a good dude. He was joking with me about it, which he didn't have to be. So that man is a legend. And he was very, very cool about it, and he didn't have to be. So I apologize. My dive is it's unique. It's basically just I just throw myself over.
Here
the top
we go.
The best. So now you'll know, if you ever see me looking around, it will be to try my best to avoid Stu. So.
A Stu check, if you will.
Yes, exactly.
So one thing you mentioned, and it's not for nothing, but you mentioned, gorilla pressing Moose. There's been many times I've watched your matches, bro. And like I said, I don't even know if I'm going anywhere with this, more of a compliment. But there's been a few times you've done stuff like that. And I'm like, damn, Joe Hendry is strong, man. You pull off some random power moves. And I was like, what? Like,
my strength makes absolutely no sense. It makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. Like, I remember I was being produced in a match by Teddy Taylor, and I was saying, yeah, I think I could do this. And he was like, what? So let me get this straight. You're going to deadlift him, this big guy, out in that position and throw him. I was like, yeah. And there's been a couple of times where other wrestlers have gone, no, he can do it. He's got this weird strength thing. So yeah, I think I've kind of always had it for as long as I can remember, but I am stronger than I should be. Like, I don't max out anymore, but during the pandemic, I was regularly squatting and deadlifting 500 pounds, like regularly. So I don't know what. Yeah, I've got some weird strength thing going on.
Gotta believe in Joe Hendry, bro.
Yeah. What did you just say? Old man strength.
Old man strength. That's what we call it. Like, anytime you see a younger kid, like we were talking about younger kids, if you see them try to buck up to an older guy, it's like, yeah, you don't want that, man. He got that old man strength.
He'll grip your ass and not let you go.
Yeah.
And like I said, that was just random.
Backhanded compliment. Yeah, excellent backhanded compliment.
Joe, I'm older than you, so trust me. There was nothing backhanded.
A running joke on the show is we have no idea how old TJ is, because he'll say some stuff where it was like, you shouldn't have been there. And like, it's a running gag on the show, though. We're going to have to cut him in half and count the rings, because it doesn't make sense how old he is.
Right. Like, some people think I'm 60. Some people think I'm 39. I'm somewhere in between the two.
That's why I call him the eternal one when he was getting connected. Oh man. Okay. Let's see what else we got, TJ. We gotta just to make sure, because you brought up Moose, and I thought he was gonna bring up that fact that we learned, TJ, that Moose don't like heights. Why would you suggest?
I was gonna say Moose and facts are two things that don't go together.
Yeah, I just love that.
I love him. He's a very good friend.
He's always suggesting turnbuckle stuff, and he's telling Joe to lift him and throw him 10 feet, and you don't like heights. It's the most insane thing ever. I can't wait to get him on. I got to talk to him.
Oh no, I get the heights thing. Like, I've had like a couple of ladder matches in my career, and even just like climbing halfway up, you're like, oh my God. So when I see Javon jump off some stuff he jumps off. I have respect and admiration for that, the courage to do the things that him and Leon do.
Oh, just a little Snapple fact about Javon, because we talked about the Mega Drive earlier. He has no idea what the Sega Genesis is. Like,
yeah, I was actually backstage. I heard him talking. Oh no, there was a bunch of guys. We were in Gorilla, about to go out for a match, and they were mentioning that made them feel super old because Javon didn't know what this was. Was that on your podcast?
Yeah, it was.
Wait a second.
Yeah.
So you're telling us that guys in the company are sitting around talking about something that came from No Contest Wrestling?
Yep, it literally happened backstage at NXT, because I remember the conversation, because I remember someone called it the Genesis, and I was like, well, it's a Mega Drive for me.
Yeah, the second.
We're going to give ourselves a self-pat in the back to it,
but I remember actually talking about it the other day because of the, you know what, I'm getting too deep into the lore of the Mega Drive here, but the music fiasco with Sonic 3, how it was like Michael Jackson really made the music for it and stuff like that. There's a lot of lore there. It's very interesting. But anyway, sorry, carry on.
Absolutely, man. TJ knows I'll go on a rant, dude. Don't tempt me.
Look, I was about to sit back and let you go because
don't tempt me, dude. Especially with Sonic. Especially with Sonic, dude. Yeah. Let me relax. All right, Joe.
Wait, Shay, I'm still tripping though. They know us back there.
Yeah, man, we getting talked about. You see us?
Good stuff.
All right, Joe. A question that I want to make sure we get out, because you've been very kind to us with the time you've given us, and I just want to make sure we get this out because it's our number one question. It's a situational based question. You're in a bar. There's 50 dudes in this bar, and they do not believe in Joe Hendry.
No, they don't. They don't wave their hands, Joe. They don't
clapping.
Clap.
No, none of that.
None of this is happening. They ain't with it.
Yeah, I mean, I hate to tell you guys, not every bar that you go into is like London and you know. But okay, I'm following the story.
All right, there's 50 dudes in that bar. I need you to pick a team of you and 4 other superstars to make sure that Joe Hendry lives on.
Yeah, we need you to get to the concert that night, Joe.
So me and 4 other superstars.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And by the way, Joe, these can be from any era, and it doesn't have to be current. You can go in the Wayback Machine and pull somebody from back in the day if you want.
Okay, I'm gonna go for. All right, I'm gonna. See that's tough. That's tough.
Yeah.
Let me have a think. Let me have a think. You know what? I'm gonna throw. Oh, this is a tough question. I'm going through. I'm thinking. You know, I'm gonna try and pick people from when I first got into wrestling. I'm gonna throw Undertaker in there. I think if it's a bar, I'm gonna put Undertaker in there from like around Mania 19. Because I think that is the Undertaker that is going to handle a bar fight specifically the best. Mm-hmm. I think I'm gonna throw in Stone Cold there, because again, he's if you remember when he came back to save the WWE from the Alliance, he was having a bit of a bar fight there. So that's a good one. And then you know what? I'm going to put in the APA as well.
Oh yeah,
I'm going to put in frickin' Bradshaw. That's a crew right there.
That's a solid crew right there.
And that makes sense because all they like to do is drink beer and fight.
Bro,
that's it.
That's a solid ass team.
Stone Cold, APA.
Right?
Yeah.
APA, where does APA love? Smoking cigars, drinking beer, and whooping ass.
Yeah,
What's Taker like? Drinking Jack Daniels, whooping ass. Same with Stone Cold. So I got a feeling, Joe, that you might not even have to take a swing in that fight. They might just handle everybody for you.
It'd be the live music.
Oh yeah, I'm spinning around and running at the door while they all do that. I'll take karaoke. I'll kind of sell the situation.
Here's what I think should happen: as everyone else is doing the work for you, you got your guitar and you're just playing their theme music. as each guy, as someone's getting popped, you're playing the Takers on the, then you're playing Stone Cold and APA, you're just having a little show while everyone's getting decimated,
Yeah.
I like that for you.
Yeah. Our producer, Don, said the bar would be out of liquor.
That's for sure. And it also seems like those would be the type of guys who, after they kick everybody's ass, would like, all right, let's get a drink together.
Yeah. Why we gotta leave? Now, you've done a lot of things. You've been around the world, and you're a man of many hats. But what some people might not know is you were also a lawyer. You were Rusev and Lana's lawyer. Tell us the story behind that, because for those who aren't aware, it's a pretty interesting one.
I'm at a tryout, and as it turns out, they've hired two people specifically to be Rusev's lawyers, and I'm not one of them. But someone says to me, make sure you bring your red tie tomorrow. And I was like, red tie? And I was like, you get told everything's a test. So I'm like, oh, God, I guess I better go out and buy a couple red ties. Sure, I was listening. Mm. So I bought a red tie, showed up to the building, and I said, excuse me, I was just wondering, what were the red ties for? And he says, the lawyers need to get the red ties. And I'm like, oh, I must be the lawyer then. So what I didn't realize is that two guys had not only been paid to do it, but they'd shaved their head in anticipation for this part. Oh, so, and it was, someone who unfortunately is not with us anymore. He was a very dear friend of mine, Lionheart. He was one of the people. And the other person, I forget his name, but they were both hired to do it. And they said, where are my lawyers? And so me and Lionheart put our hands up. And he was like, all right, come this way. So this other poor guy had actually not only shaved his head, but had been brought in specifically for this part, has now been left in the dust. So me and Lionheart go down to the ring, and they say, all right, okay, so here's what you got to say. And it was this huge thing. And I thought to myself, I just knew in my heart that I was like, we weren't required to know it off by heart in the rehearsal, but I just knew in my heart that if I had it down by memory, that I would just get it. I just knew in my heart, and that's what I did. So I just memorized it as best as I could, got it in there. Tried my best to do a Russian accent, but it was like Sean Connery Russian accent. So
welcome to the Rock.
I went in there. Yeah, exactly. So I went in there, and they just says, "Yeah, you'll do." So that's how it happened. And I remember it's interesting. I saw Lana and CJ and Rusev at WrestleMania. And it was very cool to see them, because it was just like it was an early moment in my career. And she spoke about it recently, and she was saying, she was putting me over for doing a great job. But the truth is, like, I was actually pretty nervous. And I remember there was a moment where I was like, oh, God, I don't know if I can do this. I'm about to go on, international television and have to. There was a lot to remember, and then I got to open up the thing, and the rest of it was there. But there was a lot of it to remember from memory, and I just remember the pressure and just having to have a word with myself and go, no, just go out and get it done. And there was a moment where I kind of lost it for a second, but I just looked around and then went back to it, and I got right back on track, and I got through it and got it done. So that was super high pressure. That was the first big pressure moment in my career. And it was a great experience. It was very motivating to see the WWE and to want to do it and want to be there. But the truth is, I had to go on a journey and take a long road to get to the WWE, and I've finally done it. I remember my first ever wrestling promo that I actually have it, still have it, from 2013 was when I cut a promo on wanting to learn at the Performance Center. And it's taken me a long time to get there, but I made it, and I did it, and I made good on what I said I was going to do in my first ever promo. So it's very satisfying.
You can't wait for opportunities. Sometimes you got to make opportunity, TJ.
Yeah, no doubt, man. Does it ever like discourage you that it took you, a little bit longer than maybe you had anticipated to get to where you want to be? Or did you just look at it like part of the journey, part of the path I got to take, and, just
No
stood firm in
regrets.
your belief?
No regrets. Like I've had the chance to do so many things. I've won amateur wrestling championships. I won the British Championship in 2 different disciplines. I've had businesses. I've had the chance to, I did judo. I did music. I went to, I got my master's degree. I've lived so many lives, and I'm so grateful for every part of it. And I'm glad that this is the path that I've taken, because it's allowed me to really appreciate it and really do my best to not take it for granted. So no regrets.
No regrets.
So.
You said regrets?
No regrets, as they say.
Now,
well, Joe, let me ask. Oh, sorry, Shay. Go ahead.
No. Go ahead, TJ.
Well, here's another question we like to ask, Joe. We already told you you're NCW for life and you're part of the family. We're going to let you know where we keep the spare key when you're in town. You just let yourself in the crib, raid the fridge, do whatever you do. But in the garage, don't tell everybody this, Joe, because we don't offer this to everybody. We have a DeLorean, okay? I don't know if you're familiar with Back to the Future. So we're going to let you borrow this DeLorean, right, brother? And what I want you to do is I want you to take this DeLorean and go back in time, right? And I want you to give us 5 wrestlers that you would love to have had a main event at WrestleMania with. 5 wrestlers from any era, any point in time. The car is already ready to go.
All right.
The Rock.
The Rock.
Yeah.
Ric Flair. Man, this is a really tough question to answer. And you know what?
We try to keep it light, Joe.
I just can't. I can't do it, guys, because I have belief that I will main event at WrestleMania. Like, I have that belief. So for me, talking about this is just, it's fun and games. Like, guys, this is gonna happen. I'm gonna do everything in my power to actually make this happen. It's still feasible. It's still possible. The one that I guess is Ric Flair. So if we go back, wrestlers that are that are not wrestling anymore, Ric Flair would be one. That's tough.
Yeah, Joe, that's why I asked you to go back in time, because we believe in you. Like, one day, the current guys will probably squabble with. So that's why we go back in the Wayback Machine.
I was fortunate enough to wrestle Kurt Angle. I'm very lucky to wrestle Kurt Angle. Right. Kurt Angle would be one. Someone who's not wrestling anymore. Triple H. Shawn. And I'm going to go Dusty Rhodes.
Oh,
genius.
Oh, man.
So that we're giving you 6, Joe, because you got Rock, Flair, Angle, Trips, Heartbreak Kid, and the American Dream.
No, it's 5. The Rock still rests. The Rock is his.
Okay. We're not counting. Right. We're not counting the Rock, because there's still right. Yeah. I feel you. All right. So we got Ric Flair, Kurt Angle, Triple H, Shawn Michaels, and the Dream. I like that.
We like that for sure. That. Joe, dude, if people didn't believe before, getting to know you a little bit more, seeing where your mind is, just being able to laugh with you a little bit. Yeah. I mean, you got fans in us already, but I think a lot of people will see this and get a new love and respect for you. At the end of the day, what do you want people to say about Joe Hendry when it's all said and done? What do you want people to take away from your journey and where you will eventually end up?
That if he can do it, I can do it.
That's real.
I mean, that's it right there,
That's
man.
real. That's believe in yourself. It's like you believe in me.
right.
Yeah.
You know,
man.
and I think we all kind of have to have that attitude. You know what I mean? Like, you know, Shay, like, I'm sure the obstacles you had to go through to get straight out of Compton, you know, like, I'm sure they didn't want to just give you that, you know, give you that part.
No.
But you believed in it. And for me, you know, Joe, I spent 20 years in Los Angeles doing production work. I was always on the other side of the camera, always trying to help somebody else be better in front of the camera. And then, you know, 20 years after I got here, I got a chance to be on the other side of the camera, to go on air.
Yeah.
And it was just like, I had a belief in myself all for 20 years. It just took Rich Eisen to like kind of see me and give me that opportunity. But yeah, man, if you got to believe that you can do it, man, because most times other people won't believe in you, you know? So yeah, it makes sense.
Muhammad Ali said, instead of selling myself to you, I'd rather get you to buy into you. Well done, Joe. Right. We appreciate your time, man. Hope you had a good time. How do we do? How you like the interview, bro?
It was a lot of fun, guys. Get the Genesis / Mega Drive ready for the in studio one.
Absolutely, man. Enjoy your day, brother.
Shay, we probably got to get a TV and a gaming system in studio, so when he does come, we can play.
Oh, I'm down, man. I'm gonna tell Rich.
All right, let's do it.
Thank you, Joe. This was amazing, brother. Appreciate you.
Take care, guys.
Joe Hendry.
Thank you.
I like that guy, man.
Yeah, man. Joe Hendry is so damn cool. Super chill too. Can't tell nothing is going on in that house. It was all blank. It's just a side room where he does interviews. Yeah, man. Joe Hendry. If you don't get it, why the people who make the decisions made the decisions about him after that interview, you're not paying attention the right way.
Right.
Yeah, man. But TJ, we've been yapping for this. Has been a long one, bro.
Yeah, man. But people like the long ones.
Pause. By the way, Dom in my ear was like, "We're getting really long."
That's what she said.
Oh man!
God forbid we go a little bit longer. That's what she said.
We're getting really long.
So when you guys want to watch us and see us, make sure you check us out on all socials at Spotify Music, Apple Music. You'll find us on Instagram at No Contest Wrestling Podcast. You'll find us on Twitter at There's No Contest. On TikTok, we're No Contest Wrestling Pod. And when you go on YouTube, you just look for The Rich Eisen Show or just type in No Contest Wrestling. You'll find all of our videos, everything we have to offer. Make sure in each one that you like and subscribe. And, that will ensure that we'll be able to keep this pod rolling a little bit. You know, I'm in New York. I had a good talk with some people who, indirectly work with the pod. People are loving what we're doing. And they're just like, it takes a little time to get where you want to be, but you guys keep doing what you're doing. So that's really all we can do, man. And it seems like we've been well received by everybody. So it's been amazing.
I'm used to being well received, TJ.
Well, I mean, that's debatable. That's debatable.
And, for my co-host, TJ Jefferson, I am O'Shea Jackson Jr. Make sure y'all have a good day, but not too good. Who the hell do you think you are? Bye, Miss Parker.
Bye, Miss Parker.
All right, TJ, make sure you get out of New York like Pete Alonso and Edwin Diaz.